Morning guys, Sunday morning. I have just baked some butterfly buns. Do you remember those? Really old fashioned, aren't they? Just to take to church this morning. Let me just show you. There we go. I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 there, and then I had 4 left over which didn't go in the tin, so I've put those on here and left a note for the teens to say that they can have those. So I'm quite pleased with that. It is 10:15 in the morning and I was still in bed at 9:15, so I'm quite impressed actually. Hopefully they'll go down well this morning. See you later. Alright, so we made our pumpkins. I think actually, I did the one on the right, my youngest kid did the one on the left, and I think actually theirs has come out better than mine. I sort of went for a sort of cutesy cat, but I'm not sure it's worked very well, and he just went for the cute face, the pumpkin. I cut the bottom off mine, they cut the top off theirs, and there's sort of the odd colour inside is because what we've done is we've smeared cinnamon all over the inside, the top and the bottom, and so now that the candles are in, because we've got proper candles in. Oops, that's probably not very nice to look at, is it, through the film? We put proper candles in, and now they're just starting to smell of cinnamon, and it's really rather nice. So anyway, that noise you can hear in the background is me heating the oven up because I'm just about to make tea. So yeah, quite pleased with those, and we had good fun doing them, which I think is quite important, isn't it? I also got the teens to get the Halloween stuff out of the loft so that we can get it all ready for Halloween tomorrow. So I've got a big bowl of sweets all ready to go now. I've told them they're not to touch any until after all the trick-or-treaters have been, trickle-treaters as we call them. So when all the trickle-treaters have been, then they can have some. Hi guys. So it's the end of the day now. I made a start on my sweater. So this is the top, it's top down, so this is going to be the top of it, and the neck is folded over and caught underneath, so you've got that nice sort of double roll neck like that. So it should be super cozy. I don't think I've explained that very well, but I'm sure you know what I mean. I've got to do 9 centimetres, and this is twisted rib, which is why you get that lovely sort of clear definition. I do like twisted rib. I like ordinary rib as well, but I really do like twisted rib. I think it looks lovely. So yeah, I'm just sort of working my way through that. Because I'm doing, this is Aran wool, and it's 4mm needles for the rib. I'm finding exactly the same problem as I was having with knitting the toy on 2.5mm needles with DK. So it's really hard on my fingers, and so my hands are really starting to hurt now. So but I don't think I've got that much longer to do. I've got to do 9 centimetres on this, and this is now 8.5. So I think I've probably only got 1, possibly 2 more rounds to do, and then I go back onto my 5mm needles. So yeah, so this is the drops pattern that I was saying about. Let's see, what is it called? It's called Winter Frill. I did briefly show you the picture the other day. That's it there. So you can see it's got that sort of frill. It's a yoked design with the frill around the top. So hopefully that will look really nice. And this is the yarn I bought from Aldi for not very much money. I can't remember how much it was. I think it was about £4 or £5 for a ball, but the balls are huge. I was actually wondering whether I could get 1 jumper out of this, but then I decided no, I was actually going to need 2. So I bought a second one, but still, it's pretty cheap for a jumper, isn't it, really? Can't complain. I thought I ought to tell you also about the knitting needles that I'm using, because I pretty much always use these ones. And as I'm saying that, good old brain fog with COVID, I can't actually remember what they're called. Let's see. See if it says on the instruction thing inside. Hang on. Yeah, these are Knit Pro needles. I can't remember what they're called though. Yeah, so these are Knit Pro needles. They're Knit Pro Symphony, which are, I'll show you a big one. They're the needles which are this lovely wood, which is beautifully coloured, which I really, really love. And they're very nice to knit with. My only complaint is occasionally you get a pair where the woods just seems to indent really, really quickly. If I go like that, I don't know whether you can hear that. That's because the wood, instead of being smooth like it is there, gets really rough on the ends as you use them, which is actually quite irritating to work with. So some of them I've only used 2 or 3 times, and then I've ended up replacing them, or at least I get a second pair and I just use them as a spare or something. So I have quite a big collection now. I actually got, as you can see, I actually got this bag with them all in a few years ago now. So it has all the needle sizes from, I think it starts at 3mm, and I think the biggest ones I've got are those which I think are 12mm. But they didn't all come in the set. I bought some separately as well. And then I got cables with them as well, and I got the end holders. You know, so you put those on the ends of the cables if you haven't got the needles on them. And then I've got extenders as well. This all came with it. And then the little keys to screw the ends in tight. I find them really easy to use. I find they feel really nice on my fingers. They're really nice to work with. So all of this in the case, but not all these needles, I have to say. I think it was from about 3.5 3.5mm through to 8 or 9mm, 8mm I think, came actually with the case, but I've added other ones since. I also keep a needle measurer in my bag. This is a higher one, but obviously these aren't higher needles. But and it has the millimeters on one side, and it has the US numbers on the other. So so it is very handy. I have got another needle measurer, but this is my favourite one. So this stays in my bag here. So yeah. I do recommend them actually. I do find them really nice to work with. It was when I got them, it was at a time where I thought I really want to commit to a set and just, you know, use that particular set. So that was the one I eventually chose, having worked with a pair of Knit Pro Symphony needles before, and I decided those are the ones I really like. The other thing as well I would say is I've virtually always knit on circular needles. You might have noticed yesterday when I was showing you the socks, these are also on a Knit Pro Symphony, but these aren't interchangeable because these are 2.25 and they're too small to be interchangeable, because you know you couldn't do the join on there. It needs to be too small. But these are also Knit Pro Symphony ones. It's not going to focus, is it? Take my word for it. They're Knit Pro Symphony. But yes, I knit my socks on circular needles as well. When I come to do the heel, I just pull out an extra bit of the loop. So I knit on a fairly long one so I can pull the loops out. I find it much easier for me to knit on circulars, because if I have straights, I am forever dropping the 5th needle. Or I always used to find as well is as you go to put it in on your first stitch, it just wobbles about too much, and I always used to end up with like a line of loose stitches around where the needles changed, which is really annoying. And I just don't have that issue with circulars, because as you see, it just the wire just holds it in place, so it doesn't just drop out. So yeah, so it would wobble around, and then I get that wobbly first stitch, but I would also end up just dropping the damn needle, and I was constantly faffing about trying to find needles. And the other thing I used to do, and I swear every knitter knitting on 4 needles has done this, where they go to pull they go to pick up the spare needle that they need to use, and they end up pulling a live needle out with live stitches on it, and then they've got to pick up all that side. And I was forever ever doing that. Used to drive me mad. So when I discovered knitting them on circulars, it was just like it was a new, wonderful new experience for me. So I was really pleased. I was really pleased to discover it was possible, and I've never looked back really. I find I knit them much faster on a circular, and I wouldn't go back now to straights. And in fact, actually, even if I'm knitting a straight piece of knitting, I will tend to use a circular needle. I got my friend onto it as well. She was knitting an Aran sweater, and she was really struggling to hold the straight needles when she was doing the back, you know, the big of this great big cardigan, I think she's knitting. She's doing it, and I said use a circular, because then you're not holding the whole weight of the project on a straight, you know, piece like that. And she was like, oh, this is revolutionary. She found it so much easier. So yeah, this has been my mission in life. I'm trying to convert everybody to circulars, one knitter at a time. Well, it works for me anyway, but obviously some people do definitely prefer straights. I think it's just down to a knitting preference, isn't it? It wouldn't do if we were all the same. This is what I always tell my kids. It wouldn't do if we were all the same. So yeah, here it's coming along. I'm really pleased with this colour. It actually looks a bit dark, quite dark purple in this light, but it's more of like a bluey lilac. I did order some yarn for the frill, because I think I said, didn't I, wanted to do a sort of more of a mohairy type, more fluffy frill. But I'm not convinced it's going to be the right colour, which will be a real pain if it isn't, because I've ordered it from a website and I don't know whether it's worth sending it back and spending the postage, but at the same time it probably cost me more than any of the other yarn put together. So I don't know, I'll have a look at it and see when it comes. I might decide I need to send it back. So that's that. I had fun with my youngest carving our pumpkins earlier on today. Quite enjoyable to do something with them. We don't always get the chance, do we, to do things, particularly with teenagers. They don't always want to do something with their old mum. So it was really nice. I was dead chuffed that they'd asked me if they could. They've also said, could we go to a bonfire night together, which again was really nice. I was like, oh, I'm really chuffed that you're choosing to spend it with me rather than with your mates, you know. When they get to 15, and they're 15 and 17, my two youngest ones, they quite often they just want to spend time with their friends, don't they? Want to hang out with the parents or whatever. So I just cherish every little moment when they still want to do that. It's nice. So, oh, I managed to get 1/2 of my homework done, thank goodness. I've no idea if it's right. I'm quite expecting to get it back with, see me, not quite. I'm quite expecting to get it back with, you know, you've not answered this question fully, or you need to explain more about that, or whatever. Fortunately, we get an opportunity to sort of do a do-over, as it were. So tomorrow's job is to prepare for my assessment, my group assessment that we're doing on Tuesday. I've also got my knitting group in the afternoon. Oh, and I'm going round to a friend's house. Her son works in local Tesco's, and they're all dressing up for Halloween, and he wanted to go as a ghost. So my friend has done him a a ghost costume, but they can't do it. But she's no good at makeup, so I said I would do a Halloween ghost face. But I've got to try and make it not too scary so he doesn't frighten all the little kids. So, oh, I don't know. I've done quite a lot of makeup over the years for kids dressing up for Halloween. Oh, there we go. I think that's 9 centimetres. Yeah, brilliant. It means I can move on to my 5mm needles and start the next bit of it. So yeah, I've done quite a lot of Halloween makeup over the years for having had 4 children, and they've all gone through that, wanting to dress up for Halloween phase and go out and do the trick-or-treating. So I've had a bit of practice. I must go and actually go and find it all out, get it all out. I'm sure it's in the bottom drawer somewhere. So that's my plan for tomorrow morning. I'm off to go and do face makeup on my friend's son. I think he's about 20 or something, and he's really, really tall as well, so it's going to be very interesting. I'm going to have to end up getting him to squat down or sit on a chair or something so I can reach. That should be good fun. And then I'm meeting up with some knitting friends in the afternoon. So in between those 2 things, I need to go and finish off my preparation for my assessment. I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll be worth it in the end. I'm having really real trouble getting my key in these in the thing. I just keep, some of the keys are thicker than others, and I obviously keep picking out the thick ones. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to tell just by eye which are the thick ones and which are the thinner ones. That looks like a thin one. Let's try that one. See if I can do it. There we go. So I just take that off like that. Put the new one on like this. Oops. I really need to wear my glasses. Keep saying to my kids, don't get old, it's dead boring. Everything stops working a little bit at a time. There we go. On that one. I'll do the other side now. So yeah, and then tomorrow, of course, is, with it being Halloween, that means it's also the 31st of October, which means it's the last day of Vlogtober. So really, what I ought to do is look at that list. I'm a bit embarrassed, to be honest. Look at that list and say how many of those things I've actually done. And the answer is not many. I've done a few, but not many. And some of it is down to the fact that I've picked up other things to do and I've not been bothered. You know, been avoiding doing the painting. But some of it is also just because I've simply been too tired to do an awful lot of, you know, a lot of stuff. And it is just frustrating, but that's long COVID for you, really. You can have the best will in the world, but you know, if you can't do what you can't do, can you? So I don't know. It's frustrating, but there it is. So yeah, I don't think I've anything else to tell you. I've been whittering on for ages now, haven't I? There's a couple of things I've thought of which I thought I might show you, which I haven't done yet. So I might do that this time, or I might save it and show you in another vlog. Another time. I'll see what I feel up to. Because I've left my homework to the last minute, I've really got to focus on that, so I can't really go spend too much time on my vlog. So, but anyway, I need to decorate my porch for Halloweenies to come round, the trick-or-treaters. So I'll show you that after I've done it. I usually just put like fake cobwebs and spiders and bats and things in my porch. Make it look all spooky. And I've got a skeleton which goes up on the door. So it should look suitably taking part, shouldn't it? And I'll put the pumpkins outside the door as well, then people can see them. Right, I'm going to stop wittering on and then I'm going to go. The clocks went back today and I kept thinking, why am I so tired? And it's only like 9:30 and I realised actually it's 10:30. Oh, and I'm running out of battery as well. So I think my phone is telling me to shut up. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.